estate radio show with your host, Dr. Karen Lewis, licensed real estate broker, K1 Realty Group. Join us every first and third Saturday at 11 a.m. on WMBM 1490 a.m., where you get lots of news on real people, real problems, and real estate. Good morning, WMBM listeners. I am Dr.
Over 25 years spinning the best gospel music from Miami Beach, Miami-Dade County, Broward County, and all of South Florida.
Okay, we're getting ready to go in a minute. Just hold tight.
24-hour stellar award gospel station and streaming live 24/7 at WMBM.com, a WMBM Media Group station.
The following is a paid advertisement. The information presented during this segment is not necessarily supported, endorsed, or promoted by WMBM, New Birth Broadcasting, its staff, management, or other advertisers. The advertisers are solely responsible for any information listed or discussed in this segment.
Good morning, WMBM listeners. I am Dr. Karen Lewis, the host of the Real on Real Estate Radio. Awesome. And here is my contact information, 954-248-9149. And all of my social media is K1 Realty Group. So reach out to us so that we can help you have that home buying experience. I said experience. And if you want to call in today, you make sure you get your pen and paper, because we are going to have some great information to get across to you today. We're talking about reverse mortgages. So if you're interested in hearing about that information, go get your pen and paper, because you may want to call in. So the number to call in this morning is 1-888-599-9626. Let me say that number again, 1-888-599-9626. And now I'm going to turn the mic over to my co-host.
Good morning, everyone. This is Jacqueline Williams with K1 Realty. I can be reached at 770-256-1080, and that's JacquelineSalesHomes@gmail.com. We have an awesome show scheduled for you this morning, but prior to us getting started, let's talk about those kids in school.
Oh wow, school. I don't even know what's going on. Jacqueline, I've been out of touch this week. What's up, Jacqueline?
Well, they say they're going to try to have the kids return to school October the 5th, and that's very alarming because Israel is getting ready to shut down for a second time, guys. That's right, they're getting ready to shut down. So we have to be safe. We need to wear our masks. We need to make sure that we stay in tune to what's going on in the world, guys. We have all of the, a lot of people out there that don't want to wear masks, but the numbers have went down since we have been wearing masks. So please, guys, wear your mask, and we're going to get started with our great guest today, and I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Lewis.
Right. We definitely do want to make sure that we're wearing our masks, because one of the things that I'm seeing lately is that I'm seeing people walking now and they're not having their mask on. So we want to make sure that we're safe, and be careful and be mindful out there so that we don't have another shutdown. So again, be mindful on that right there.
Yes.
Before I put our guest on, and we're going to talk about reverse mortgages today, I do want to give the number again, 1-888-599-9626. 1-888-599-9626. One of the reasons I'm giving that number out so many times, because I had a lot of people call and wanted to hear about reverse mortgages, and so we wanted to make sure that we have the expert here to talk about reverse mortgages. She is a reverse mortgage guru. Yes. So at this time, we're going to just turn the mic over to Miss Alicia so she can just give us a little introduction, and then we're going to jump right in. We're ready for you, Alicia. You ready?
I'm ready.
You stay ready.
I'm ready.
You ready?
All right. I'm not going to break the trend, so I'm going to start off saying good morning. Great to be here, Dr. Lewis. Thank you for the invite this morning. Yes, I'm here to talk about the reverse mortgage. My name is Alicia Hayes. I am a licensed loan officer with Primary Residential Mortgage, Inc. We're located in the city of Miami Gardens. The address is 610 Northwest 183rd Street. The contact number is 305-652-9393. And you can call us any day of the week. We'll be glad to assist you not only with reverse mortgages, but we also do traditional mortgages.
Okay.
Yes.
She said any day of the week. Now, I won't tell you to call me any day of the week.
No, I won't either.
I take some days off. I take some time off. But she said you could call her any day of the week. All right.
Yeah, if you call me any day of the week, you have to reach me on my cell phone, which is 786-299-1575.
And
That's
so,
awesome. 24 hours a day, Alicia.
24 hours a day.
That's
so
amazing.
The office is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6 p.m.
and you can call her on her cell phone. All right, so that's awesome. So Jacqueline, I'm gonna let you go first today. I'm not gonna be the talker, but before we go first, let me just bring clarity. She said her name is not Alicia. She said Alicia.
Oh.
So we have to make sure that we call her by her name, Alicia.
Alicia.
Thank you for the clarification. Alicia.
Okay, Miss Alicia, let's get started because I've heard so much about reverse mortgages and I am really very curious, and I know a lot of listeners out there are as well. So let's start out by telling us, what is a reverse mortgage?
A reverse mortgage is typically a mortgage. It's a little different from the traditional mortgage. And the reverse mortgage is also known as a home equity conversion mortgage. You will hear people say HECM, reverse mortgage. All of those two items are the same thing. And it was created over 25 years ago when the federal government saw a fit to help Americans 62 years and older convert the equity into their home into a tax-free money to improve their lifestyle. As you know, the older you get, no matter how we plan for our retirement, sometimes it's not enough. When we invest into our home at early ages and we're making those principal, interest, taxes, and insurance payments, what you're doing is you're creating equity into your home. So what the government do with the reverse mortgage, they will allow you, while you're still living and you're living in the house, to retrieve that equity out of your home without making a mortgage payment. And when you don't have to make the mortgage payment, that creates a lifestyle where you're comfortable and you can live stress-free and not have that burden of how I'm going to pay my mortgage, how I'm going to pay my taxes. So a reverse mortgage is typically a mortgage that is reverse, allowing you not to make a mortgage payment, as in a traditional mortgage, we make payments.
Okay, so that's good. So what happens if, some people, when they get older, they want to leave a legacy behind for their children, and then, say, I'm going to leave my house, but because I did not save when I should have and put myself in a better financial position, I want to do a reverse mortgage. What happens? Because now the house is no longer a legacy, part of my legacy, or is it?
Yes.
Did you understand that question?
The house remains your legacy. It remains your home.
Okay.
And under a reverse mortgage, only downfall, because there's so many strong points with a reverse mortgage, the only downfall is that your inheritance is probably less. Because you have to remember, we're not making a mortgage payment, but the mortgage payment is being added. Is using the equity in your house. So instead of your principal balance decreasing, it is increasing. They're using the equity. So in the instance, if you're in a reverse mortgage and you live 10 years, that means there was 10 years of payments not being made physically by you, but the payments were being made out of your equity. So if you had $100,000 worth of equity, and within those 10 years you used $20,000, now you only have $80,000 worth of equity left for your inheritance to go ahead and sell that property, retrieve that money, or they can purchase the property and they can also continue to live in that particular property.
Okay, another question. Okay, so with you saying that, so the interest and everything is still accumulating. So is it at a higher rate, or is it at the rate of your mortgage with the interest that it's going down? I mean, what's the downfall of that? It's as for money wise, that is my question.
Like a traditional mortgage, do you have a current market rate? So at the time that you approve for the reverse mortgage, you are given a rate, and that's the rate that is going to carry on. You do have some adjustable rates, just like a traditional mortgage. It's just that the rate that you're quoted, that you're locked in, whether it's fixed or adjustable, that's how it would accumulate over the loan.
Gotcha.
Now, what if I want to come out of that? Like, say I'm 62 and I do that, I have that 100,000 equity, and I decide, you know what, after 5 years, I want to come out of that reverse mortgage. Are there any implications for me as a person over the age of coming out of that reverse
No,
mortgage?
you can pay off your reverse mortgage at any time. You can refinance out of it, you can sell your
Okay.
home. As long as you're living in the property, you don't have any mortgage payments. But if you was just asked, if you want to come out, you have options. You can sell your home, pay off what has been used, or you can refinance the property into a traditional loan.
Gotcha. Oh, go.
No, go ahead.
My turn, your turn, somebody's turn?
I don't know, but with that same thing, I have another question, because in reading, I heard that once the person is deceased, that the inheritors of that property, they only have maybe 30 to 60 days to either sell that property or come up with some type of solution?
No,
for that
that's
reverse
a
mortgage?
myth.
Okay.
What happens is once a person is deceased, the family, the heirs, they have automatically 6 months to decide if they're going to purchase that property or they're going to sell the property. They have 6 months with an extension of another 6 months. So they can have up to 12 months to make a decision on that property. One thing that I do want to mention about that, because some of the federal laws was changed in August of 2014. Prior to 2014, if you were not 62, they would not allow you to be on title. Well, they have changed because you, the homeowner who's 62 or older, you're applying for the mortgage. When you close that transaction, you are on the deed. But within the next 30 days, they will allow you to do a ladybird deed or a life estate deed, adding someone to the estate in the event of your death.
Awesome.
That you can add your daughter, your mother, your sister, you can add them with the approval of the servicer. Once you create that deed, you must send it to them to review it. And if everything is within their criteria, they will allow you to record that deed. But if the person that you're leaving your life estate to is under 62, only thing that allows them to do is avoid probate, because that was an issue before. If you did not have a trust, you would have to go to probate. And while I'm on this discussion, please understand, a will still have to be probated. A lot of people is under the perception, if I leave a will, that person that I leave my house to automatically gets the house. No. It makes it easier for the probate to go through because it's in test. Therefore, a will does not probate a property. You have to still go through probate, and a lot of families don't have $2,500, which is a typically traditional amount to start a probate. Therefore, they end up losing the property because no one had the money to go to an attorney to start the probate. But now you can add the person on the life estate deed, which allows them not to have to go to probate and make decisions to either purchase the house or sell the house and to avoid the probate.
Okay.
You
gotta go. Wait.
I got to go. Because
Go, Jacqueline.
This is very important. I'm sorry, Dr.
Your turn.
This is so interesting to me because my mom is of age and she has a lot of equity in her home. So I really have to ask this question. So you're saying if my mom decides to leave the home to an individual in the family, and their bank allows her, or the servicer, to place that person's name on the deed, the house will go to that person, and they don't have to go through probate, or they will have to go through probate.
They do not have to go
Oh,
through probate.
that is
Okay,
so
so
awesome.
wait, so freeze, so, because we're gonna come in with what Jacqueline is saying.
Yeah.
So, because this is what I was gonna say, break that down, go back a little bit, and it's gonna come in what me and Jacqueline are both wanting to get out. Talk about that Lady Bird deed. First of all, break that down, because the average listener have no clue what a Lady Bird deed is.
Okay, a Lady Bird deed is just and also known as a life estate deed on any property. If you do a regular quit claim deed, you're quit claiming the property from yourself to an individual. And that means the individual become the sole owner of the property. You're giving up all your rights. But when you talk about a Lady Bird deed or a life estate deed, you're actually doing a deed for an individual to only receive that property at your death, after your death. You are still the owner. You have the rights to do whatever you want with your property. The individual that you're leaving the life estate deed to has no rights until your death. Therefore, they cannot sell your property. They cannot refinance your property. They can't do anything to your property. Only in the event if you pass away. Therefore, they don't even have to know that they're going to inherit your property, because it doesn't require their signature.
Wow.
So if I wanted to leave my property to my son, I can do it, and he has no knowledge. And let's just say within 5 years, I decide to pay off my reverse mortgage. He don't even know that he was going to inherit the property, because he only inherited properties upon my death.
Wow.
Very interesting. Now, is that only with a reverse mortgage, that Lady Bird or
No.
life deed, or is that with any mortgage?
That's with any mortgage.
Wow.
You can also do it with a traditional mortgage just as well.
Love that.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to, that's excellent. So back to that Lady Bird deed, so that we can avoid probate. So with the Lady Bird deed, once we have that, and then the person pass away, now when they have to go deal with the property, they do not have to go and file probate.
No, not on the property. They might have
On the
other-
property,
on the
we're just talking about
They don't have to
property.
file
Okay.
property, because the person that you left it to is the sole owner, or sole owners, because you can leave it to more than one person.
And even if, another question with that, even if you say there are other members in the family that say, no, we're going to contest that.
Right.
No,
Please record it, because it needs to be
Okay.
recorded and stamped prior to your death.
prior to.
Okay. So is that
amazing
public
and awesome.
knowledge?
And that's public records, because your other family members can look it up and they can see that you was at a sound mind. Make sure that you're at a sound mind when you sign it, because I have ran into people when their parents are going through dementia or going through some type of illness, and you might have a sister say, oh no, my mom didn't even know what she was signing.
I had somebody just like that told me 2 days ago they were trying to dispute even a will, and the sibling said the mom left it to one sibling, and then the other two came and said no, she did not. She did alcohol a little bit, and so they said she wasn't a sound mind, and so now they're fighting it.
So now that will bring up a court situation. In that. Okay, if it's anybody to test it at that point, it will. Which is, so to hold the house up and the money, and they'll end up losing the house with all the equity at that
So
point.
I just advise, just talk to your family members, let them know what you want to happen, and put it in place to avoid situations, because time after time, as working in the real estate professional, I see so many of us, we create this generational wealth, and we lose it because nobody wants to cooperate, and everybody is just on a perception that this is what mom wants, this is what dad wants. So if we could just take the time out, and I know we don't want to talk about death, and we don't want to talk about leaving, but it's important, because when you leave this world, you're affecting a lot of people, especially if you was that head of the household. You want to leave them with less worries as possible.
And those are conversations that we need to have. And again, what you said, Alicia, people, they don't want to talk about it, but those are conversations that it should be a must-have, because we cannot avoid it. If we could avoid it, then I would say we don't have to have those conversations,
Right.
but we cannot avoid it. And then when we're gone, then you're not going to know what I'm thinking or what I should do, could do, or so on. Now you're thinking for me, and then now it's a lot of dispute, and you have families that stop talking to one another for years and years because I didn't put my properties and everything in order, and then we create chaos.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to, if you don't pick up anything else, the good nugget is you want to make sure that you have everything in order, no matter what it is.
Yeah, that's good. And another thing, since we're on that, is credit. I mean, does that person with that equity have to have good credit? Do they have to be in good health?
Good question.
I mean, and what percentage? With that, what percentage of the house equity needs to be?
Wow, that was a lot of questions all in one, but I'm ready to answer them all.
Because we gotta go snap.
And that was a really
Trying to get it all in before that time run out.
You're doing that today, Jacqueline, not me.
I gotta get it all in.
Jacqueline, those are very, very good questions, and those are questions that most of my clients will have. Prior to 2014, because after the crash that we had, the federal government see fit to do some revisions with the reverse mortgage. They did not look at your credit. They look at your credit, not for credit scores. They're just looking at the ability of how you pay your bills and to make sure that you don't have any federal liens pending or lodgement. This program, the reverse mortgage, is to make you be comfortable and stress-free and to live the remaining of your life at ease. They don't want to give you a reverse mortgage, eliminating your principal and interest, and then you have a loan for $300,000 where you're still paying $9,000 on a payment. So in some events, they look at it just to make sure that you're able to continue to pay your taxes and insurance. The good thing about it now is that they have a program of a set aside. Prior to 2014, they will eliminate your principal and interest payments, and you were still responsible for your taxes and insurance. They now have a set aside, what they call a LISA, where they can set aside for your taxes and your insurance just as well. If you have enough equity, you can set aside the taxes and insurance where it eliminates for you paying anything on your property.
Awesome.
And it all is determined by your age, the equity in your home, and yes, the age and the equity in your home. And the value of your home plays a role on it, because that's how you're going to determine the equity versus what you owe in a mortgage. And just another bullet point, and I don't think that's a discussion today, but they will allow you to purchase a home into a reverse mortgage just as well.
Okay, freeze. Do that again.
Oh gosh, that's
you just threw something else to.
And I had a question, and then now you just threw that at me, and I'm like, wait, whoa.
Let me give you an example. I have a client. I was selling his property. And he says to me, and then you interview, he's interviewing me and I'm interviewing him. He says, my plan is I want to sell my property, I'm retiring, and I'm going to move up in Port St. Lucie. I said, okay, and all of that as well. And he says to me, I'm going to pay my house off in Port St. Lucie in cash. I'm going to purchase it in cash. He already found a house. The house was about $100,000, 105. And he says, I need to net at least that much, because I'm going to take the profit from this house that I own now and just pay it off. And all I'll be responsible for is my taxes and insurance. I said, wow, that's great. That's great planning. I really like that. And you're going to give them $105,000 cash? He says, yes. I said, well, let me introduce something to you, a reverse mortgage. I ask these questions because a reverse mortgage is not for everyone.
Right.
The one thing I ask is, do you have children? The age of the children. Are they situated? Because as parents, we want to leave something to our children. He told me he has a son who has his house, who lives somewhere else. It's just him. And that's why I want to pay it cash and no words. I said, if I introduce you to the reverse mortgage where you can purchase that home, would you be interested? He said, yes. I did the calculations based on his age and the purchase of the house. And he ended up purchasing that house for $60,000. and he was only responsible for his taxes and insurance,
Wow.
but he was able to keep about $40,000 to do whatever he wants to travel.
Awesome.
Wow. Oh man, it's
Wait,
it's
I got
time.
one
You can't
Can you get money out when you do a reverse mortgage?
Yes.
Okay, that was the final
Okay,
question.
so but then since you had one, I got one, and we have 1 minute, and then you give out your information.
Yes.
Do you have to be 62 years old to do the purchase reverse mortgage?
Yes.
Okay,
I
all
must be
right.
62.
So now we haven't even finished. Me and Jacqueline had 100 questions for you, but we didn't
gosh,
finish,
so
so we have
many.
to have you come back. Give out your contact information.
Once again, this is Alicia Hayes from Primary Residential Mortgage, located in Miami Gardens. We can be reached at the office at 305-652-9393, or you can contact me on my cell phone, 786-299-1575.
And I'm Jacqueline Williams with the Real on Real Estate with K1 Realty. I can be reached at 770-256-1080, or that's JacquelineSalesHomes@gmail.com. Awesome job, Miss Alicia.
Awesome job, Dr. Karen Lewis. Thank you for joining us today on the Real on Real Estate Radio. We had a great time.
Yes.
My contact information 954-248-9149, and we'll see you the next go round. So join us. Awesome. Oh,
That was a really good show. It goes real fast, but
Oh,
that